Hello, hello, it's Tiffany. Welcome to tonight's webinar. We're going to be talking about heart health, healthy hearts, and how are your guts and your diets related to your hearts. So I just want to again say welcome. We're going to get started here in about 1 minute. So we'll give everybody a chance to get on the line. So if you want to take a minute and grab a notebook and a pen or a pencil, go and do that. It's really important, that you have focus as we're talking tonight and that you're able to stay with us through. We're going to get done in an hour, so we will finish up in 1 hour. So you'll be back to doing whatever you were doing, but I want you to be here with us so that you can take in the information, you can disseminate it, and you can put it into practice and use it for yourself right away, okay? If you're joining us on the recording, welcome. And thank you for taking the time again to spend with us here to learn more about how your gut and your everything else contributes to your heart, right? February is Heart Health Month, so I thought it was a great time for us to get together and talk about heart health and everything that we can do with our diets to contribute to improved hearts. All right, so again, welcome. I want to acknowledge each and every one of you that have taken the time to come join us live, and those of you that have taken the time to watch the replay. I really appreciate that, and I just want to say congratulations, right? Thank you so much for being here with us. I really appreciate that. If you have questions, I want to let you know that when you are on the live event, you can use the chat, and if you're watching the replay, feel free to send your questions via email back to us at tiffany@gfmomcertified.com, and we will get you the resources and the answers that you're seeking. All right? So I have notes up here is why I keep scrolling. I just want to make sure I see those bullet points, and we're going to get started, right? So I'm going to swap over, and I'm going to share some slides with you. We are recording this, and again, welcome. I'm so glad you've taken the time to be here. Here we go, Heart Health 101, right? That's why we're all here. How many of you here, I'm gonna try to turn this and see if I can see these better. There we go. How many of you here, I'm curious, want to have optimal heart health? Like every day, all day long, you just want to make sure that your heart is right. Maybe you have somebody in your family that had a heart attack in your past or had a stroke, and you don't want that to happen to you, right? And so if that's you, go ahead and raise your hand or put a comment in the comment box that you are somebody that is wanting optimal heart health every day, all day long. And I want to also thank you for being honest with yourself, right? Being able to say that, yeah, that's me. That's why I'm here. That's why I was curious about this information. That's why I'm taking the time to rewatch this webinar, because I am somebody who wants to have optimal health, and I want to have that all day long, right? And so I really appreciate that. I appreciate you being honest with yourself. That is one of the first steps it takes in moving forward and getting your health back. So with that being said, I do want to take a minute and just kind of, if we've never met, introduce myself, right? My name is Tiffany Hansen, and I am super blessed. I am reminded every day of how blessed that I am. I'm an international best-selling author. I'm a 2-time Amazon best-selling author here in the US, a business owner, super mom, gluten-free lifestyle expert, a functional medicine certified coach. I have this wonderful, loving, supportive husband, the thriving business that we have with GF Mom Certified and Thrive Clean. We do live events, which are awesome and amazing, and we do those all over the country and locally in Chicago, as well as right here online. These are live that are recorded for people to watch later. And I'm just so blessed also to be able to help thousands of people over the last 4 years with their health and help them find a path forward and healing. And that just makes my day so much better to know that God is using me for his plan and for his kingdom, right? To bring others healing. One of our most recent things that I'm super blessed for and super excited about is our international best-selling book, Voices of Hope, where I wrote a short story about the hope that I had in overcoming my own health that brought me to opening up my own business. So one of the other things like that is super important to me is the stories that we have about our own health, but the stories that I hear time and time again. And it just reminds me today, like yesterday I was at the Chicago Auto Show for the Women's Day. It was International Women's Day. There was an event called Thrive and Drive. And I was introducing a friend of mine to somebody else that I had known for several years. And they're like, well, how do you know her? And I'm like, oh, she's a past client. And she's now a great friend, right? And what is reminded me of that is now I look at this woman that was with me and I think of her as this friend and this awesome person that's just like there. But if I were to talk about 4.5 years ago, she was actually a client that was struggling with cholesterol issues and trying to figure out how to use diet and exercise and lifestyle medicine to improve her fatty liver diagnosis, but also lower her cholesterol because she really didn't want to have to go on medication. And today it's just awesome. I mean, I know that like personally her cholesterol went down over 50 points in a very short time frame just from changing the food she was eating. And it's such an inspiration. But that was just a great reminder of that. Personally, myself, I wasn't always this image of health and optimal like lifestyle. When I was 14 years old, I was very, very sick. I had a lot of gastrointestinal issues. When I was 16, I was told that I'd never have children of my own. I was having menstrual issues. Can you imagine though, like at 16, having to be told by a doctor that you'll just never have your own kids and that's just it. And he was very blunt about it. And the time I told myself, it'll be okay. Like, I'll just tell everybody I don't want kids and like lie to myself. And I went for 13 years taking 25 different pharmaceuticals a day and actually questioning why God put me on this earth. And what is so awesome and amazing, and I'm super, super blessed today, is that I do have 3 amazing daughters. And I guess they were wrong, right? Because I had my own children. It's just truly awesome, truly amazing. So that is me in a nutshell. All right, so we're going to talk quickly about 3 things tonight, okay? So we're going to talk about diet, we're going to talk about exercise, and we're going to talk about myths, because we need to shift the mindset and we need to release all the negative beliefs we have around heart disease in order to move forward. So we're going to conquer some of those, and we're also, then we can talk about like, what does that journey look like going forward, and how do we get you support once you know what the diet, what the exercise, and the negative myths that are out there, right? So we'll get you that information tonight as we move forward. So let's clarify for a minute. Heart disease. What is the definition of heart disease? And I want to make sure we're all on the same page here. So pulled down a definition and I agree with it. So I'm going to share it with you. It's from the Medical News Today. And they say, heart disease is the leading cause of death for men and women in the US, and also the leading cause of death worldwide. Heart disease is a term used to describe several different conditions, many of which are related to plaque building up in the walls of the arteries. As the plaque builds up, the arteries get narrower and narrower. It's almost like a little funnel, right? And this makes it more difficult for your blood to flow through and creates the risk for heart disease. It creates the risk of heart attack. It creates the risk of stroke, and it can also cause increased cholesterol. Okay, so that is kind of our definition that we're all going to agree on for this, for what is heart disease. And I really like it. So now that you're clear on what heart disease is, we're going to move forward and talk about how this relates to actually chances of higher heart conditions, okay? So let's talk a little bit about your heart and is it safe, and what are some of those little things that are indicators that you might be at risk. For me, I'd always think about 5 indicators that you would be at risk. One would be an increased waistline. Another one would be high cholesterol, high blood pressure, obesity, and then if you're eating a standard American diet. Those would be personally my 5 things that would put you at risk for heart issues, okay, or heart disease risk. Now, according to the American Heart Association, they go and they list even more. So smoking tobacco makes you at risk. High blood pressure makes you at risk. High cholesterol makes you at risk. Physical inactivity makes you at risk. Obesity makes you at risk. Hereditary conditions makes you at risk. And unmanaged diabetes can contribute to being at risk for your heart, to have a heart attack or a stroke, okay? So if you have somebody, yourself or somebody in your life that you really love that is dealing with any of those at-risk indicators, I would love for you to share this information with them because it might bring them some healing, right? It could bring them something that they could put into their lifestyle that could cause their risk to be decreased and give you the chance to spend more time with them in their life. Okay? The list of risk factors can seem overwhelming. I totally get that. There are so many of them. But the good news is that numerous studies have offered solutions that can lower these risks. And as many of you know, the doctors even say it, diet and exercise. So we're going to talk a lot about diet and exercise tonight. And we're going to break that down for you because a lot of people are like, I'm doing that and it's still not enough. So what are you doing within diet and exercise that maybe needs a little bit of a tweak, right? It makes me think about those old-fashioned carburetors on cars, and you would get a screwdriver out. Now, a lot of you are like, Tiffany, you're not that old. I am that old, and yes, I have had to do this. You would get a screwdriver out, and you would turn the screw, and it would adjust the gas flow through the carburetor, and it would run smoother. So how do we adjust the screw on your carburetor or on your spouse's carburetor so that your blood is running smoother through your arteries and you're not at risk anymore, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. And a lot of these things, I would say you would want to do what we're going to talk about before you're even at risk. So even if you're young, if you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you might want to make some of these changes now so you never become pre-diabetic, hypertension, right? So you never get in the at-risk category. So just go ahead and try to change your habits now, and I'd love to help you do that. It's one of the things that I love doing with my clients is helping them adjust and change their lifestyle and create new habits. So don't worry about all of this. You can always rewatch this. I will email out this replay. So if you're like, Tiffany, you're talking too fast, I can't keep up with the notes, I'll send you the replay. You can rewatch it. And again, you can share it with somebody who needs some help. All right, so we're going to talk about how do you reduce your risk, right? The FDA, right? FDA, Food and Drug Administration here in the US, has the following list on their website for some of the lifestyle changes that you can make. And so the FDA says you can quit smoking or you could never start smoking if you're young. Regular exercise. So exercising for 20 to 30 minutes, 5 days a week. And for some people, that is pushing a shopping cart through a grocery store is enough exercise. For other people, it's walking a dog. For others of us, it's going out into nature and walking. For other people, it's going to the gym and loving to socialize and have community at the gym. But regular exercise, okay? Not strenuous, not over, but just regular. Maintaining a healthy weight is another way that you can reduce your risk. Eating a heart-healthy diet, and we're going to talk about what does heart-healthy diet mean, because a lot of the things when you walk into the grocery store, you'll see heart-healthy, heart this, all of this marketing, and a lot of that is just marketing. It has nothing to do with the actual health or the benefits of the food contained inside the package. So we'll talk quite a bit about what does a heart-healthy diet truly look like. The FDA cardiologist, Sherry Targum, explains that, for example, you can eat fruits and vegetables with each meal, but limiting your saturated fats and your added sugars and choosing to eat less meat is actually much better. And I actually love that the FDA is saying, right? Fruits and vegetables first, limit your fats, your saturated fats, limit your added sugars. So they're not saying limit fruit sugar, they're saying limit added sugar. So those would be processed sugars. And then choosing less meat, which means you're choosing more vegetables and fruits, which is awesome. Goes right in line with what I truly believe and one of the ways that I love to eat myself. Okay. If you are smoking, they're suggesting that you consider stopping and seeking coaching or a health professional to help you do that. There is also a free resource that the government has called smokefree.gov. That's a website that you can go to for some great resources to help you quit smoking if that's something you're interested in, to lower your risk of heart disease, right? Now, we're going to dive right into diet. You guys had to know that's where we were going to go. I mean, I'm all about the food. And so we are going to go right into diet. All right, I'm going to take a quick drink of tea. And this is exciting stuff. So heart healthy diet, right? What is a heart healthy diet? First of all, we need to think that when you're treating heart disease, you need to think about lowering cholesterol, lowering blood sugar, lowering blood pressure. And a lot of that you should be able to do without medication if you're eating the right foods. This is so like my thing. Dr. Mark Hyman actually says that with the medication alone, it's like mopping up the floor and you're still leaving the faucet running and the sink overflowing, right? And I can so relate to that because when our house was flooding, we thought we had shut off all the sources of the water and yet the water was still flowing. So he is so right. When you're taking a pill like a statin or that would be for, oh my goodness. Anyway, if you're taking any, I had a metformin, that was the other one. If you're taking like a statin or a metformin or something in those categories that treat high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or high blood sugar, then you basically are like mopping or doing a bucket, but not fixing the root cause. You're not fixing the hole in the boat if you're just shoveling a bucket out as the water keeps pouring in. And you're also not shutting the faucet off if you're mopping the floor and leaving your faucet running. So it's just going to continue to flood through your blood and it's going to continue to cause you heart issues unless you get at the root cause. And that is one of the things that I love doing is root cause analysis, root cause triage, root cause problem solving. That is me, right? So we're going to leverage that root cause as we go into diet. And we're going to do what Dr. Mark Hyman says, and we're going to go after foods that lower your cholesterol, lower your blood sugar, and lower your blood pressure. So what are some of those things that we can do? Part of that is called a clean diet, right? Clean eating. What is clean eating? Clean eating is choosing fruits and vegetables, then choosing healthy fats, and then choosing super low amounts of meats and doing more grass-fed meats if you're doing that and organic stuff. It's also choosing to eat more nuts. Did you guys realize raw almonds, not salted, not roasted, but raw almonds will lower your triglycerides by a lot, right? And so that's just one like huge superfood. Another thing that you can do is bone broth that will help stabilize blood sugar. Blueberries, another one that will stabilize blood sugar, right? So there's all these really cool things that you can do. Another celery juice, and celery in general is really, really good for cleaning the blood. Now, there are general guidelines when doing a clean eating diet. So a lot of those, for me personally, are what our book, Thrive Clean, is all about, is that clean eating diet. But it's eating fruits and vegetables, lower amounts of meat, nuts, seeds, healthy fats. It's giving up the things, and we'll talk about what you have to get rid of, but it's getting rid of stuff that's not helping your blood, not helping your gut, and then not helping your heart. So what is on the menu, right? And it's not that you have to be deprived. One of the things I learned from my very first integrated doctor I ever saw was he gave me this list of food that I was allowed to eat versus a list of do not eat. And that was the game changer. And that is something that I do with my own clients is I give them a list, a menu, a grocery list of everything they're allowed to eat. And you could still have chili, you can still have meatballs, you can still have, of course, salads, right? Salads, but you're making your own dressing. Smoothies, you can still have chocolate, you could still have red wine. And a lot of people are like, what? I can still have red wine? Yes, I never take away wine. I never take away chocolate. You just get a healthier version of them. And it works, right? So what are some of the things that are on the list? When we talk about foods that are on the list, we're talking about like oatmeal and chia seeds and quinoa, cauliflower, plant-based milk, right? We're getting off of the animal products for the most part. We're getting off the cheeses, we're getting off the animal milk, so cow's milk, goat's milk, right? We're walking away from the butter and the margarine. We're moving more to like a coconut oil or even a ghee would be okay. We're moving away from canola oils. We're moving away from corn oil, vegetable oil. We're moving and sunflower oil. We're moving into avocado oils. We're using olive oils. We're using grapeseed oils, your sweet potatoes, yams, all of those are on the menu. Brussels sprouts, oranges, avocados, apples, and yes, your red wine. Kombuchas, kimchis that you make, fermented pickles, like I could go on and on. And that is one of the things that I love doing. And that's one of the things that we have these menu plans and we have these recipes because you're not deprived of food. You just have to go back to natural foods that maybe grandma, great grandmother would have eaten. Nothing out of a box, nothing out of a can, nothing processed, but actually real foods, right? Going and shopping at farmers markets, getting your imperfect produce boxes. If you want a coupon, by the way, for imperfect produce, I have $10 off, so I can offer you. Just shoot me an email. And just going back to those and pairing them with real garlic and real ginger and spices that just draw that flavor palette out. And it is truly amazing what you can create. And the colors, oh my goodness, the colors are so vibrant when it goes this way. So then what do you ditch, right? So when we talk about food, what are you giving up? Now, you have to think about that standard American diet. Standard American diet. It's sad. I love that that goes together like that because it is. It makes us sick. It makes us fat. I will give you case in point. People that come to the US that are immigrants within the first 3 years normally have been diagnosed with obesity, high blood pressure, had their gallbladder taken out, or had some other traumatic health issue that is not even in their genealogy or hereditary. It just happens because they start eating the food that we have in America. And so, and it's mainly not just all the food, it's because they start eating the processed food. It's easy, it's convenient, it's cheap, it's accessible, and all of a sudden they're sick and fat just like the rest of us. Do you guys realize 86% of the people in the US are diagnosed with an incurable disease? That's ridiculous. And that is one of the things that drives me insane. So that's why I promote optimal health. And I know that we can get it. We just have to go back to real foods. So what are we ditching, right? And I love, there's actually an article in Time Magazine around ditching foods for heart health. And so in Time Magazine, they're telling you you need to ditch the fast food, fried foods, candy, soft drinks, sugar, sweetened juices, cereal, breakfast cereal, gone, cookies, pastries, margarine, meat lovers pizza, they say, has to go, and diet soda. Okay? I will tell you that you need to get rid of the processed food, the things that come in a package that are not organic, all natural, and you can't, anything that you read the ingredients and you can't pronounce it, it's gonna go. All sugar, processed sugars go, dairy goes, and I personally would get rid of anything with gluten. Okay, those would be my recommendations. So you're getting rid of the gluten, the dairy, the sugar to start with. And then you wanna limit the plant, or not plant, you wanna increase the plants. You wanna limit the animal products, okay? Those are the things you need to change for your heart. Those are the things you need to change to heal your gut. They go together. Many naturopathic doctors believe that the cause of heart disease is inflammation, and I would completely agree. Foods that are causing inflammation are causing inflammation not only in your gut, but they're causing inflammation in your arteries, they're causing inflammation in your liver, they're causing inflammation in your heart. Therefore, they're contributing to heart disease. The other contributors to heart disease would be environmental, and we'll talk a little tiny bit about those, but think about like stress, chemicals, chlorine in your water, fluoride, those things will also cause problems, okay? So things to just keep in mind. All right, so now we're gonna jump into exercise, right? Gotta get moving to get your heart healthy. So what does that mean? Exercise, honestly, should always be part of every healthy lifestyle. It does not have to be cardio. It doesn't have to be lifting weights. It just needs to be some sort of movement that gets you to perspire a little bit, that gets you feeling like you have energy. Those kinds of, it could be dance. It could be yoga. It could be all kinds of stuff. But if you want to target heart healthy, there are some things that are a little bit better in exercise than others, but you always, always should be doing some sort of healthy lifestyle exercising. So strength and resistance training is actually something that is encouraged by the American Heart Association. They recommend strength training exercises at least twice a week with push-ups, squats, sit-ups, jumping jacks. Sounds like elementary gym class, doesn't it? Those are things I think we all know how to do. We may not like doing them, but we were at least taught how to do those at some point in our life. These types of exercises are going to strengthen your bones, your muscles, your connective tissue, and lower your risk of injury on your body overall. I will tell you, if you're going to do squats, just make sure you've got alignment so you don't overextend your knees and end up with a knee injury, okay? And so you can check out YouTube videos that'll show you how to do those, and they're great. You can also, by increasing your muscle mass, you're going to increase the amount of calories you burn throughout the day. I don't really care about calories. Calories give us energy. Calories help us feel vibrant. What I personally never like calorie count with my clients, because it won't matter what your calorie intake is if you're eating fruits and vegetables. It's when you're eating things that have been processed that the calories matter. But otherwise, your body's going to use the fiber and it's going to offset the calorie count. So if you want to talk more about that, let's schedule some time together. And it's the truth. Walking and running. Walking is a low impact exercise that's easy to start, and then you can build up more sustainable movement like jogging and running over time. But walking is also really great for lowering your blood pressure and your cholesterol while increasing your energy, and it can help you with weight reduction. So anytime you can get out and walk or run, it's awesome. We're going to talk a little bit more about yoga. Yoga is something that's awesome. I really love it. I love it for the aspect that it helps with balance. So it helps with brain health. It helps with strength. It helps with mindset. You could do yoga while you're saying affirmations to yourself, the I ams, right? I am strong, I am powerful, I am healthy, I am whatever you want to say for your I ams. You could do those while you're doing yoga. Goes really well together. Yoga is also something that can be done at any age. So if you're a mom like myself, sometimes you don't have room in your house for everybody to be doing cardio, but you have room for everybody to get a little space and do yoga together. So the interesting thing is yoga, like I just mentioned, brain health, right? It's proven for mental and physical benefits, both in science. It also will help with muscle tone, and it can help lower your stress. It will lower your blood pressure. It can increase your lung capacity if you do the breath work with the yoga, and increase blood circulation overall while increasing your balance capability. So it's all really, really good things, and it all goes back to that super healthy heart, right? That is what is so important, is your healthy heart. All right, we're going to move into myths. So this is the third topic for us tonight, and we're going to debunk some myths because we got to get the negative things out of the way, and we got to just, they're not true. They're not true. We're going to dive into a few of these as well. So there's a lot of information around heart disease. How many of you remember when margarine was the thing that you needed to be eating, right? Margarine, 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 they said, right? Go get the margarine. It's heart healthy. It's heart balanced. It's blah, 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 right? They had even smart butter, I think it was called, or something like that. And then about 20 years later, they're all like taking it all back. And they're saying, no, 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 don't eat the margarine. It increases your heart attack risk. It increases your strokes. Don't eat the margarine. It clogs your arteries. So we're going to talk some more about some other myths, because Mayo Clinic has been releasing a lot more research, and there's some other things that we've been told over the course of our lifetime that we thought were good for us that truly are not true now that we actually have science behind it. Okay, so we want to take a look at a few common ones tonight, and then I'm sure there are more, but heart disease is something that only old people should worry about. False, right? Heart disease is not just for old people. Many of us, I think, have known people in their 40s and even in their late 30s now that are having heart attacks. I had an uncle, this is even 10 years ago, in his early 40s have a heart attack. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, he's so thin and he's just so Like, he works all day and he walks, and he was like, nobody could believe he'd had a heart attack because there was nothing in his lifestyle from the external that anybody would have said, why did Uncle Steve have a heart attack, right? But in reality, it didn't matter that he was thin. It didn't matter that he walked miles every day for his job. It caught up with him. And so there was something either in his diet or in his environment that caused the heart attack, because we know he was getting the exercise every day, right? So when you look at the three things that contribute, something in there is causing it, right? So it does not just happen to old people. That's our first myth that we're saying, nope. Mayo Clinic is even saying anybody at any age can have a heart attack, and the risk of a heart disease is creeping down that age chain, and it's hitting younger and younger people, okay? So it could even, if you've got a teenager that's got some diet, exercise, environmental things not quite right, they could even end up with a heart attack in their teens, which is sad but true. Or end up with some other sort of heart disease like high blood pressure. How many kids do we know now that are like juvenile diabetes because of type 2? It's more common, not just type 1, but there are more kids now coming out with obesity and type 2 diabetes that are going to contribute to heart disease. And so getting in front of those kids, whether it's a library event or something else, and helping them understand that diet, exercise makes a huge difference, and they get to live longer and more vibrantly and do more of what they want because they have their health, is super important. I would encourage you to share some of this stuff, even with the young people in your own families. Okay, so what else? This guy's taking a smoke, right? So if you're a longtime smoker, how many of you believe you cannot reverse the damage that's been done to your heart or reduce the risk of heart disease? I gotta tell you, that's false. Harvard Medical School actually is now stating that if you quit smoking, you will have immediate benefits on your health. And over the course of 1 year, your risk of a heart attack or heart disease goes down by 50%. And over the course of 10 years of you being off of cigarettes or smoking, you basically, your body will go back because you'll regenerate your tissues, right? Your cellular tissue. And after 10 years, it will be like you never smoked at all. So that's really, really cool. So don't think that just because you're smoking now that you can't have an impact on your health. You have a huge impact. To think that in 1 year it's a 50% reduction, and over 10 years it's like zero, like you've done no damage whatsoever. That is really, really cool and awesome. Okay. And again, if you need help quitting smoking, you can reach out and I can connect you to people, or you can go online to, smokefree.gov, I think was the website that we mentioned earlier. And they've got resources for you as well. Many employers also offer programs, and there's all different ways to do it. But I would encourage you, if you are a smoker and you're looking to reduce your risk of heart disease, that you really give it some thought and quit. Give it up. Change your habits. Life is all about change, and choose the changes that you want. Okay, moving on. How about your genetics? Do you believe that you're only at risk for heart disease if it runs in your family? Again, false. There are people that parents have had heart disease and they will never have heart disease. And there's people that have no family history of heart disease and all of a sudden they've got heart disease. So genetics can play a role in developing heart disease, but it is not the determining factor, right? What is the determining factor is your lifestyle. So that would include diet and exercise. Those are your determining factors, and your stress. Those are the things that are going to turn on the switches in your body to say, yes, I have high cholesterol. Yes, I have high blood pressure, right? Or turn them off. You have the ability through epigenetics and how smart our bodies are to decide your future. You have the ability to make those choices every day by what you choose to do in your life. What do you choose to eat? How do you choose to have activity or exercise or do something in your life? Those are your choices. Dr. Mark Hyman was quoted in saying that lifestyle changes that we have highlighted here today can even reduce the risk of heart disease when it comes to hereditary risk. So even if both of your parents have had heart disease, both your parents have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and type 2 diabetes, right? The big three, as my husband likes to call it: cholesterol, blood pressure, sugar, right? Diabetes, big three. If both of your parents have those, you would be like, all right, I'm a shoo-in. I'm definitely getting all three of these. Dr. Mark Hyman says, not true. You have the ability to reduce your risk of all of those based on your lifestyle decisions. And so it is so true. That's another reason I love functional medicine. All right, the myth of shortcuts. What do you guys think about this? So how many of you have heard, I can just take an aspirin every single day, or a baby aspirin every day, and have no heart trouble or reduce my risk of a heart attack or stroke? I'm gonna burst that bubble. I know many of your doctors are probably still telling you, oh, just take a baby aspirin every day. It'll be fine. It'll help you. That's actually false. Aspirin has been known to reduce the risk of heart-related complications, but every person is different. So before implementing it, it's very important that you work with your doctor to determine if the aspirin treatment is even beneficial for you, or is it safe depending on what else you're taking medication-wise or what else is going on with your body. The FDA recommends informing your healthcare provider of all medications and supplements you're taking, including your aspirins. You should also list any probiotics, enzymes, and things like that that you're taking when you do go to the doctor, because they can have an impact, and there can be cross-reactivity. You could be drinking a medicinal tea, like I'm drinking licorice tea. I was like, what do I have? I have licorice tea tonight. And that could have an impact depending on if somebody wanted to prescribe something to me. So FDA, and I agree with this, is you want to make sure that you're telling everybody about this, okay? So how do we ensure that you guys are getting the full support for this mindset shift, right? We just told you that it has nothing to do with whether you're smoking or not, because you can reverse that. It has nothing to do if your parents had it, you could still get it or not get it. Has nothing to do with taking an aspirin every day. It has everything to do with what you're consuming, eating every day, how much you're exercising, and your environment. What is your stress? What is going on around you, right? So what does full support really look like when you have full support? I'm going to tell you a little story, right? Full support is when you have a team of doctors and a coach and probably a therapist, a nutritionalist, a friend, an accountability partner, and a cheerleader, right? That is full support. And if you were to take that out for a minute and you were to say, hey, a professional athlete has full support for his career. He's got his coach on the field. He's got his mindset coaches off the field. He's probably got a ballet instructor if he's a football player. He's got a registered dietitian or a nutritionalist telling him what to eat. He's got all of his different doctors, and he's got this whole team, and he's got cheerleaders, right? He's got this whole team working for him. That is full support for somebody to get where they want to go in life. And that is what's really cool. Full support when it comes to your health is knowing what you know, but also ensuring that your doctor understands where you want to go and is helping you get where you want to go successfully. Listening to you, right? Truly sitting down and having a conversation with you. Dr. Rana, for me, was the doctor that did that. Dr. Rana would sit down an hour sometimes with me, or sometimes 2 hours, and listen to my concerns, and then address my concerns, and then recommend somebody to add to our care team when I was dealing with my celiac and endometriosis when they were still really, really bad. At one point, he said, I think you need to see a visual worker. And I was, what? I was like, visual worker? I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, you need to go to the counselor that will help you visualize what you want to happen in your health. And I was like, oh, who is that? And he gave me a name of somebody, right? And we added this lady into our care team. And she helped me begin to see, like, what do I want in my future? Now I almost think of it as I was like visually meditating, but it was like a dream board for your health, right? But there was a person that dealt that, and they were added to my care team. That is full support. So when I talk about getting full support is getting more than just a doctor but it's also probably having a functional medicine doctor, having a functional medicine coach, having a psychologist or a counselor if you need one, having somebody at the gym that's your accountability partner, having a friend that you can call when you're having a bad day, right? That is full support. And I would love to help you find that. I would love to help be part of your full support team. We should definitely talk about that. You guys, I am super excited. I want to celebrate our newfound health. I also know that we just had a super short time together, like an hour, not even an hour, right? We've barely scratched the surface, and I really want you to feel like you've got the support you need to move forward, just like Gina did when I worked with her health. Gina is one of my most recent clients. I worked with for 6 months last fall. It is winter in Chicago. Last fall. And in the beginning, she just knew she needed to have decreased inflammation. She needed to figure out a way so she could still eat, fix one meal, and her husband would eat what she was eating. And what I knew from talking with her is that she needed to be on a clean diet. I knew that Gina needed to find a way that she could go to her regular grocery store where she was used to going and also have food that her husband would eat, but it needed to be cleaner. And so we strategized together and we created a plan. And I talked to her actually right before Thanksgiving, and she was super excited. She was getting ready to prepare things for Thanksgiving that were going to be gluten-free, and she wasn't going to tell anybody, and she was super excited about that. She was eating more vegetables. She was back to walking at the mall. She's a grandma, by the way. And she had the energy to do that, and she was back out with her friends. And she also had the energy to help her ailing mother who had Alzheimer's. And so that was just another story of inspiration to get her from where she was, where she didn't want to get out of bed. Gina was also having problems even making meals, and her husband was having to like order in food, to where she had the energy to take care of her own ailing parent. So that was a really cool story. I want to help you find your way. I don't want you to end up being one of those 86% of the US that is taking a pill to cover a symptom. It just breaks my heart. I stand for you having your optimal health. You guys, I have a really cool deal tonight. I'll talk about it a little bit. So one of the things I want to offer you, it is Valentine's Day. It is February. It is like love month, right? But you got to love yourself. And so I want to offer you tonight our Journey to Health program. It's a 90-minute session with me, one-on-one. We can do it on video, where we sit down, we talk about where you're at in your health, where you want to go. We look at the gap in between, right? And then we look at the causes of that gap. What is the root? And how do we address that root problem? And how do we get you forward? And we set up this plan. And that's in one 90-minute call. And this package that I'm talking about is a $300 package normally. And then we have one follow-up call that you get to schedule to talk about how you're doing and any other tweaks we want to make. The other thing you're going to get with your Journey to Health is you're going to get a free week of recipes, a grocery list for that week, and some food list. And I'm also going to send you our gratitude journal, because I think it's really important from a mindset perspective to think about all the things that you're grateful for, all the things that you are blessed for in your life, and to put a positive spin on where you're at and where you're going in your health. I'm really excited about these Journey to Health packages that I have. I've been working with more and more people. I worked with one gentleman right before Thanksgiving. He had gotten some really bad health news. He had always been a workout at the gym every day, 45 minutes, big lifter, right? And top of his career, and he'd got some really, really bad health news. And I said, let's take a look at your blood work together. Let's figure out like one or two things you want to target, and let me give you some ideas. And we walked through that. I gave him some ideas on what he could change in his diet. He didn't really need to change anything. He was already exercising. He just needed to make some tweaks in his diet. And he was a single gentleman. He was, like I said, top of his game at work, working a lot of really hard hours. And so he had started using what he thought was healthy alternatives that could be made in 10 minutes or less, right? So you get the picture. A lot of lean cuisines, canned soups, things like that are labeled heart healthy, are labeled great for you, but are not so great. And so we made a few tweaks. He started doing a different food-based program, which was great, getting more clean food in there. And we did our follow-up call 3 weeks after that initial call. And he said, I just had a follow-up with my doctor as well. And he can't believe how much my blood pressure has decreased. And this was awesome. Like, I was like, seriously, in 3 weeks? And he was giving me the numbers, and he's like, yeah, I'm just doing what we said we were going to do, and I'm just following the plan. And he's had huge improvements. So those are stories that I want you to have, right? I want you to be able to say that I've had this improvement and my life is just moving and going, and it's just awesome and great. So I want to, like I said, offer you this journey to health, and it's Valentine's Day. So we're going to do the 90-minute call, the initial call. We're going to get you a map on where you're going on your journey, and then we'll have the follow-up call. And then I'm going to throw in the gratitude journal, which I just actually threw. I did not mean to throw it, but I'm going to throw that in the package as well for you, along with a menu and a grocery list and a meal plan and a personalized plan, right? A personalized plan for you. We can do all of that for $97. So if you are interested in taking and leveraging that opportunity to get your health back to where you want it to go, we're getting a plan to move forward so you are not having heart risk issues, right? Or you're somebody that's already at risk and you just need to lower your blood pressure, your cholesterol, or your blood sugar, and you're like, this sounds like it's what I need in my life right now. I want you to send me an email. I want you to send me an email at tiffany@gfmomcertified.com, or if you get this in an email from the replay tomorrow, I want you to send me an email back. Tell me that you want to schedule your journey to health, and I will give you up until Saturday the 15th to leverage this Valentine's gift to you, okay? So if you want to take it and leverage this for your own health, you have until Saturday to make the decision, and then we will get your 90-minute call scheduled, and we'll get your follow-up scheduled when you're ready, and we'll get you on your way to a healthier you. For those of you who are just not ready, but you're like, hey, I really like that journal, you can get these online. We have them on Amazon, and we also have them on our website. Okay? So it is honestly, it's time for action, right? We kind of went over those options. The most important thing for you right now is decide, how are you going to change your diet? How are you going to do the exercise? And are there any changes you need to make in your environment, right? Do you need to figure out a way to decrease your stress? If you need help with any of those things, I'm going to suggest you take and you leverage the journey to health opportunity that you've been given as a gift, okay? And that we get to working on that. What other daily actions can you commit to now to ensure that you're supporting your optimal health? That's one thing you have to ask yourself. The other thing you have to ask yourself is, what do you really want in your health? What are you going to choose? Are you going to choose clean eating? Are you going to choose to walk? Are you going to choose to get a coach? What are you going to choose for your health? Okay. It's very interesting, but it is always your choice. If you are one of the first 10 people that actually takes time and you have action and you take an action and you say, this is my action, I'm going to do it. And you send me a message that says, hey, I'm taking an action, whether you take and you purchase the journey to health or not, but you actually say, this is my action, this is what I'm changing, this is my behavior, this is it. And you email me what your choice of action is. I'll email you back a Heart Healthy IFM meal plan that'll give you a list of foods, thousands of foods that you can eat that are all safe for your heart. And I'll just email that back to you as a free gift. If you are somebody that, for those first 10 people that say, hey, I'm taking an action, and you go after that action, all right? Honestly, super thankful for you tonight. Thank you for attending. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will go back to the live video and answer any questions that you might have. Honestly, it means a whole lot to me to be able to share this information with you, to share stories of inspiration, of overcoming, and just to be able to spend this time with you to help you have better health, to help you lower your own heart health, lower your heart risk, and increase your heart health. That really means a lot to me. And if you have any questions or anything, you guys, just email me. Give me 1 second here. We're going to go back here. All right. So if anybody has questions, go ahead and throw those in the chat bucket. And if you are watching this on the replay, because I'm going to send this out tomorrow morning, again, just email me and we will get your questions answered, or whatever resources you need or connections. I'll help you find those as well. I am super, super grateful you joined me tonight for the live webinar. Did you learn something? That's what I'm curious about. If you learned something new, put a number 1 in the little chat box. I'm curious just to make sure, like, did you get value? That's always interesting to me. So again, email me if you're going to take action. Email me if you'd like to get your Valentine's gift and do a Journey to Health package with me, okay, for the low price of $97, and you'll get all those awesome little things that go with it and 2 sessions. Thank you for joining us.